I should have changed red. Fucking. No, okay, I gotta change the stream title. Come hang out. There we go. Save. Boom. I'm doing a drinking stream tonight. Sure. Cool. Alrighty. Hoodie then. We got this on the docket. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, might as well watch this CopyZilla video that I was talking about earlier.
The famous live streamer Ice Poseidon just scammed his followers for up to $500,000, and I'm going to prove it. He personally profited $300,000 by stealing money out of a crypto scheme that he set up. And when I confronted Ice Poseidon, who's better known by his real name Paul Danino, about this scam, he was shockingly honest. You want to keep the money that's not yours, that you took from the project, even though you failed.
This is just insane.
I mean, I'm not really sure what you want me to say, but yeah.
I'm trying to get you to return the money because it's 100% still available, and you could do that.
Yeah, I could give the money back. It is within my power, but I'm going to look out for myself and.
And I like this guy as a content creator, but no
more else to say. That's just the most honest answer.
Now, these influencer scams are becoming more and more common, in part because of how easy they are to pull off. Ice Poseidon's scheme apparently took him only 2 weeks of work to set up before he apparently got bored with the project and decided to stop working on it and just took the money.
Like, seriously, how long did you work? I'm just curious.
Well, like you said, it was a fork, so I don't know, a couple weeks.
Couple weeks, $300,000. That's
like, how could someone scam someone that much money and feel okay with
to return the money that he stole?
I just don't get it.
To the guilt that he was
like this
taking
guy,
money from his fans who were all.
From what I've heard from Hyphonics, which is a live streamer that used to be with him and shit, he was making like $100K a month. So for him to do this, it's just baffling me. Like, you're making $100K a month live streaming, so that's like 12K. What is it? Like, that's a shit ton of money every year, and yet you're doing this pretty much suicide attempt, because let's be honest, you're not going to be a live streamer after this. You're not going to have any sorts of community, fan base, nothing after this, and you're doing it for what, $500,000, and you have to give 40-something% of that to your developers. So you're doing it for essentially nothing. You could be making way more live streaming, doing what he was doing, but instead he committed social suicide.
Much worse off than him. Ice Poseidon's response was that he didn't like how that made him sound.
It's like, has anyone watched Batman, the Dark Knight or whatever? There was this line in that movie, and I love this line. It's like, you can either die a hero or live long enough to become a bad guy. That's essentially what happened here. He couldn't have died a hero. He could have had a lot of fans and just went off the internet. That's what he wanted to do. But instead, he decided to live long enough and be in the social networking shit long enough to become a villain. And that's what he did. And you can't tell me this ain't villainous. I mean, he stole $500,000. How's it going, y'all? Welcome to stream. Well, we're looking into this CoffeeZilla shit with Ice Poseidon and all this. This is just crazy to me. This guy stole $500,000, and meanwhile he was making 100K every month, anyways, doing live streaming. So he essentially committed social suicide doing this.
Down.
I don't know if you're aware of the fact that your average fan has way less money than you. So you're just taking from poor people. Like, you understand that, right?
That is definitely not. That is not a good way to put it. That's a pretty shitty way to put it, my dude.
That is a good way to put it. You're gonna tell me you're not taking from poor people? Fucking some of these people only have so much in their savings. You know, some of these people only work minimum wage jobs. You are taking from poor people. You're stealing.
I think it's a pretty shitty thing to do.
From the very beginning, this story shocked me, but especially the twist at the end that I can't tell you about yet. But what I can tell you is that this is my most in-depth investigation yet into influencer greed, cryptocurrencies gone
This is
wrong,
true because
and
the
the
biggest
blockchain.
donators
Now, I know
are
it's
poor
been a while,
people.
so let me remind.
Yeah, well, not essentially poor people, but like people that are working minimum wage jobs or, you know, don't have a shit ton of disposable income. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, and the unfortunate thing is that a lot of these, how do you say this, influencers or whatever, they're doing these pump and dump schemes when it comes to cryptocurrency. For example, we'll look into this next, but FaZe Clan also did it as well to save the kids coin. And this is why I am really skeptical of cryptocurrency in general nowadays. You know, until it's regulated, in my opinion, this is gonna keep happening. And you know, even when it gets regulated, is it gonna be worth as much money as it is now once it gets regulated? That's another good question I would like to figure out. You know, because here's the thing with cryptocurrency: it's only really worth as much as it is because it's the free market money. You know what I mean? Once you regulate it, is it going to be worth as much? Who knows?
This is the $10 million studio. I'm your host, CoffeeZilla, the internet detective, and well, it's good to be back.
You put money in and then you sell in like 20 minutes when it pumps.
Ice Poseidon first got into crypto just buying a lot of meme coins. But like many influencers, he quickly realized gambling on another person's coin is a sucker's game. The fast, easy money is actually in getting other people to gamble on your coin. Now this moment...
And this is how a lot of people are making money off cryptocurrency nowadays. It's not even people buying the cryptocurrency anymore. It's the people making the coins themselves. That's where the real money's at, unfortunately, nowadays. It's not, oh, I'm gonna buy a shit ton of Dogecoin and sell out at the right point. No, it's the person who made the fucking Dogecoin who's making the money. And same thing with NFTs and all this shit nowadays. It's just so easy. Crypto is a fraud. Yeah, well, that's essentially what I'm getting at, you know? All this stuff, it's unregulated. It's so easy to get ripped off nowadays. And it's just gonna keep happening until the government finally cracks down on it. And when the government cracks down on it, I essentially don't see this being worth any money anymore. So,
it is important. It's the moment Ice Poseidon realized what a gold mine it could be to start his own scam.
You're telling me I could create a CX coin and then people could buy it because I could say that the community is super.
And here he is, like, and I hate to say this about the people who bought into this coin, but people should have really done the research before they bought into this coin, because here he is directly telling his fans what he's going to do, and that people still bought into the coin. Now, I'm not saying that it's the people's fault. It's mainly on Ice Poseidon's fault. It's mainly on these people making these coins and ripping people off. But at the same time, you also got to put some responsibility onto yourself as well.
And then I could sell it in 10 seconds and make $10 million. What the f am I doing?
Ice Poseidon would later say that the clip you just watched was a joke, and that
Totally.
the idea of him scamming his fans was just a bit he played up for the audience. But that core idea that he was missing out on a huge opportunity to make a ton of money was real, and it nagged at him. And pretty soon,
And another thing too, I know the community at Ice Poseidon is a part of the whole IP2 network and everything. If you piss these people off, they will go at you with furious anger, man. These people are crazy. If Ice thinks being swatted is one thing, wait till it happens to him in the future. If he thinks that corporations or businesses are gonna work with him after this, no one's gonna work with him. What he did here was essentially screw himself out of any opportunity ever in his life now, because now this is all on the internet. Good luck getting a job anywhere. Good luck. They're gonna look your name up. They're gonna instantly know what the hell you did. Good luck getting any investors to invest in any other projects that you have. That's not gonna happen. No one's gonna invest in his stuff anymore. Not only that, but these trolls that are a part of his community, they're gonna fuck with him for a while. They're gonna screw with him. And they're gonna screw with him hard.
he decided to start his own coin.
CX Coin is the one to choose. I'm the founder of CX Coin. My name's Paul Janino, and I decided to make a community-driven token that I'm personally going to be a part of.
Now, almost immediately, this got a lot of attention. Obviously, given his past comments about sort of scamming people, people were understandably skeptical of this. And it came out right after Save the Kids, and you would have thought that myself and other people...
We're gonna look at this next. The Save the Kids thing. This is another thing. This is why crypto is really sketchy to me, man, because of all these people doing this.
Talked about this whole thing, but Ice Poseidon was working incredibly hard behind the scenes, which is something I need you guys to understand. He was contacting people like myself and pleading with us that he was just joking back then, and he was serious about this coin. He wasn't about to pull off a scam like Save the Kids. He was different. He even mentioned in live streams that Save the Kids was going to make what he was about to do much harder.
I know about the phase coin, Steezy. That's why I'm trying my best to be as transparent as possible. I've been working on this for like a month now, and I wasn't gonna let that drama stop me, but it definitely makes it a little bit more difficult.
Makes it a little bit more difficult to scam people. Now some other influencers are getting caught scamming people. Yeah, I bet you it's gonna make it more difficult for your audience to believe in your shit now, which they obviously shouldn't have because you scammed them.
Ice Poseidon repeatedly told skeptics that he couldn't rug this coin if he wanted to. He had locked all his money up in a smart contract. He told me that in DMs. He said, "Don't worry, no rug here. All the money is locked." Lol. And look, I have to admit, I was busy at the time with some other investigations, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt, something that I obviously regret now. But periodically, I would hear, complaints from his community that they thought something was off, but every time I'd go to Ice, he would immediately respond. Immediately. And he always gave me something that sort of sounded reasonable, and I later learned he was doing the same thing with everyone who said something negative about CX Coin. In fact, he got a Dextero article killed about CX Coin being a scam. I mean, I even asked him about this at the time, and he said this: Dextero article went up and then down? Did you see that? Yeah, I emailed Dex proof I wasn't scamming. So leaving that up, quoting a Twitter with 2 likes is a bit unfair.
This is what con artists do. They'll try to convince you that what they're doing is not a scam. When someone is trying to con you, when someone is trying to steal money from you, fraud money from you, they're gonna do whatever they want, whatever they can, to convince you to give you your money. They're gonna do whatever they can to convince you that what they're doing is not ripping you off. Meanwhile, that's their sole intent the whole time, is to rip you off, is to take your money.
To me, the point I'm trying to make is he was playing the PR game hard, telling everybody he was different. He even gave me his wallet addresses and told me to hold him accountable. He wasn't going to do anything shady. And everyone sort of felt like, okay, maybe he's doing something different. Maybe everything he's been saying was, just a joke.
Because, dude, if I see it $1 million, I'm selling. I don't give a. I'm not gonna be like, I'll hold for you guys, bro. I see $1 million in my portfolio, I'm out.
Not gonna lie.
that looks bad. But I'm gonna be really generous here and give Ice the benefit of the doubt. That clip probably was a joke, and it was probably made before he was actually thinking about making CX coin into a real thing.
Now, as time moved on, I and many other people sort of forgot about CX coin. Until January, when I decided to take a break for a little while, and while I was off, I couldn't help but feel that there was something else going on. I just had a hunch I had to look back. So with my free time, I joined the CX Coin Telegram and started tracing back the wallets that Ice Poseidon had given me so transparently. And pretty soon I found out that, well, he gave me the wrong crypto wallet. Whoops. He gave me the DX Sale wallet instead of his personal wallet, which didn't tell me anything. For example, one of those things he didn't tell me was the fact that he took out $200,000 from the liquidity pool at the very beginning, which is directly at odds with what Ice Poseidon told me himself when I asked. He said, "Don't worry, all the money is locked up, except for $200,000.
He even puts law in the message too.
Which was the misappropriation of the so-called marketing wallet. Now, according to CX Coin's own white paper, the marketing wallet was to be used exclusively to, quote, fund marketing campaigns in the cryptocurrency market. But in the Telegram, there was another story going on. Ice Poseidon was complaining that he had spent money on an ad campaign and it just hadn't helped. Quote, we spent $53K on a BTOC and it hasn't really helped. The wallet is limited. He berated people who complained. You want me to spend $30K on stuff that doesn't help? Or you want me to think about the best ways to use marketing money? Exactly. You can't use the marketing money on, well, you know, marketing. Instead, the money seemed to go somewhere else. Shortly after this coin launched, Ice Poseidon bought himself a brand new Tesla. This video...
Fucking Jesus Christ. So instead of putting the 30K in the marketing to potentially make more money off this quote-unquote CX coin, he buys a fucking Tesla with it. Who does that shit? You know what I mean? If you want to become a businessman, if you want to do anything in business, and you do this, my fucking God. You know, but this is just a straight con man right here. And like, the thing that really pisses me off is that I loved Ice Poseidon. Ice Poseidon got me into IOL. I loved it after that. I've been all into IP2 and shit like that. I love that kind of shit now. But for him to do this, I mean, it just baffles my fucking mind. It really does. It really does.
Was published July 24th, and as he says, he bought it a week ago, putting it right around the time that he launched the coin and realized he had suddenly gotten a lot of money to his name. But I'm sure all that money is locked up, right? Apparently not. And here's the interesting thing. The longer things went on, Ice Poseidon just sort of gotten more and more brazen with the way he used the money, right? At first, it was just sort of sitting around. Then he started sending it to cash out wallets. And eventually, I calculated that there's roughly $250,000 missing from that marketing wallet. But that's not all. Ice Poseidon had tricked his followers at this point by getting them to buy into a vision of a long-term project. The whole idea was that this was going to be a donation platform for streamers and that it would take a while to build. He kept reiterating this again and again.
I mean, this is a long-term project. I'm trying to, you know, we're making a donation platform, so I'm going to put that on my stream, and this coin will just be around for the entirety of my streams.
He said this a lot in the Telegram too. You know this is long-term, right? Thanks, guys. I assume everyone is in it for the long haul. Anyone who invests in something should know this was a long-term project, so 1 week is not going to see results. Now, later I would find out this was a lie. Ice Poseidon did not see this as a long-term project. He actually gave up after 2 weeks. But I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, guys. He gave up after 2 fucking weeks. Who fucking does something like that? Why? What's the point of starting to begin with? Why do this to begin with? If you're just gonna pull out in 2 weeks, make 300K or whatever, what's the point? He was making more live streaming every year. Sure, he was blowing all his money. He wasn't investing in anything, but he was making more live streaming. So to just do this, I mean, like, it just baffles my fucking mind. And how long do you think this money is gonna last him? You know what I mean? What's he gonna do when this money eventually dries up? Let's just say he invested because I only watched part of this video anyways. Let's just say that he puts it into crypto. All right. What's he gonna do if he loses all that money in crypto? What's he gonna do then? Nothing. He's screwed. He won't be able to get back into live streaming. He won't be able to, you know, get any investors to do any other projects. He won't be able to do anything. He's essentially screwed himself out of any other potential to make any other money. He has screwed himself. And there ain't no coming back from this. He's done.
The point is, ICE was getting brazen. He was increasingly intolerant of people who called him a scammer, saying they just hadn't done their research. He even brought my name into it, saying he had talked.
That's exactly what scammers do. Oh, I'm not a scammer. I'm not a scammer, and they'll get defensive about it. Meanwhile, they're trying to scam you all the time.
To CoffeeZilla, maybe implying that I had cleared him.
And I've talked to these fucking people, CoffeeZilla. I've talked to these guys. I showed them the coin. I showed them everything. And, you know, they're giving me the benefit of the doubt. So obviously they would call me out if it was a scam.
Now, I'm going to be honest, this really pissed me off. Ice Poseidon was using my name to try to imply that he was legit, when in actuality, he had just fed me false information about his coin and begged me not to talk about it. But amazingly, the final piece of this puzzle wouldn't fall into place until a few days ago. As I said, Ice had been getting more and more bold, thinking, I guess, that he had gotten away with this. And on January 22nd, 2022, using his wallet that he didn't tell me about, he drained the liquidity pool, essentially killing his own coin and taking the money from his investors. To be specific, he drained about 90% of the funds, which is about $300,000. Now, for context, liquidity pools are how you get money out of crypto, right? You can't just cash out a coin like CX coin, right? You can't buy groceries with it. Someone has to be willing to trade you that coin for something that, you know, sort of has value. So coins like this rely on something called liquidity pools, a big sort of pot of money. And what Ice Poseidon did, using the fact that he created this coin, he
kind of sounds like a Ponzi scheme a little bit. And the funny thing is about that, me saying it kind of sounds like a Ponzi scheme, is that Ice actually tried to do a Ponzi scheme at one point. He tried to pay investors with other investors' money, which is the definition of a Ponzi scheme.
rug pulled 90% of that from his community, which meant that that's $300,000 that his investors.
And if someone was to do this, Jay, fucking ain't 420. I agree with you, fucking ain't 420, man. Fuck that guy. But anyways,
would not be able to get back out. And at this point, I simply had had enough. This was a scam. He had lied to me from the beginning, and he had lied to others about it, and I wanted to confront him. But I couldn't let him know that I knew anything, otherwise he wouldn't pick up the call. So I simply told him I wanted to chat, and to my surprise, he agreed. And so on the 26th of January, we had the call you're about to see. And mind you, I'm expecting him sort of to deny everything, like who would take credit for this? Well, Ice would, I guess.
It looks like the coin got rugged. You know anything about that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, not rugged, but I mean.
Well, someone pulled all the liquidity out. That's a rug, right?
That would be a rug, yes.
And he's just admitting to doing it too. The funny thing is that I don't even know if he's gonna get any legal ramifications for doing this, because technically, coins or bitcoins or whatever, they aren't regulated yet. So there's nothing much I don't think the government can do. But I mean, like, if it was, they would throw this in courtroom. They would show this in court. He would be screwed.
But there is still liquidity in there.
40K got left and 300K got ripped out, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly what happened.
Right. Are you laughing? I mean, is that funny?
I mean, no.
You're hearing this right. He's admitting he took out 90% of the money, but that's not a rug pull, apparently. He had to do it after all.
It's the definition of a
Crypto
rug
markets were
pull.
crashing, and if he didn't take out the money, who would?
The crypto market is crashing, and $300,000 is in there. There's two options, right? Leave the money in there, and then if BNB goes.
But here's the funny thing: that $300,000 wasn't his money. He technically stole that from his audience. He stole 350,000. He stole that money. Like, if they were to do this on Wall Street, they would get caught for it. Now, don't get me wrong; those guys have a lot of money, and they would probably get away with it somehow. But because this is crypto, people are getting away with this all the time now, and it's just insane how the government is just letting these fucking people get away with this shit.
Goes down to like $100, the money goes to anyways, or I could take it.
And that's kind of how investing works, by the way. If the money goes to shit, then you would lose out on it. You're the one who made the CX coin to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, he made the coin. You know? If you lose money, you lose money. You shouldn't have to take your investors' money to save your own ass. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
And the money is not just going to dust.
The money would have never gone to dust. I mean, it just would go back to the investors when they sold out, when you told them, hey guys, I'm no longer interested in this project. I wipe my hands of it. You know, you got your 50K
Exactly.
in, you got your 50K out, you're good, right? You didn't deliver. This is not your money. I can't believe you keep thinking of it as your money that's going away. That's your investors' money, and it should be their decision what they do with it.
Okay, I mean, that's a fair point.
That's a fair point. Yet, despite all these fair points I kept making, every time ICE got cornered about the fact that he was basically stealing from his investors, he slowly pivoted his language from, oh, this isn't a rug pull, to more like, well, the investors deserved it. He said, they believe too much in his project and his word.
They're like, part of the responsibility is on
That's
them as well.
that's kind of funny. They believe too much in him. Of course they're gonna believe in him. That's why they're investing in him. No one's going to invest money into something and not believe the guy who's doing the project or making the company or whatever. That's like if I was to invest money into a car dealership and I'm investing it with someone who sells cars. I'm not going to give that guy winning the car dealership money about believing the guy that he's going to give me a return on my investment. You know what I mean? So of course his audience is going to believe in him because they want a return on their initial investment.
For being, putting too much emotion into it.
Now, look, I want to be clear. I agree that investing in any influencer coin is idiotic, but the logic here seems to be insane. They believed me, so it's okay I scammed them? I asked ICE about this.
I don't know if
Exactly
you're
my
trying to
point.
say they deserve it. You're saying they owe some responsibility. I agree they owe some responsibility, but do they deserve to get ripped off?
No, I mean, nobody deserves that.
It's just
Yeah,
what
I don't-
happened, though.
Like I said, sometimes you have to look out for yourself. I don't really know how else you want me to put it. I mean, you could say it in all these different ways to make it sound as horrible as possible. And you know what?
It sounds horrible the way you're selling it. You're saying it. Sometimes you just gotta look after yourself. You're robbing people of their money, their hard-earned money, because you're greedy. It's not looking after yourself. That's just being a thief. This is why the government needs to lock down on crypto. They need to stop this because if they don't, and I'm not one for government regulation when it comes to everything. Don't get me wrong. I think the government should be in everyone's business. But when it comes to stuff like this, and because it's happening so often nowadays with NFTs and crypto, they need to lock down on this because if not, without any consequence, these people are just going to keep doing it.
I can agree with you on some of those things. I just don't like to put it in those specific ways because it makes it sound like that was the intention from the start, which it wasn't.
And there it is, the final refuge of every scammer. I started with good intentions. I meant to do the right thing. But I kept reminding Ice Poseidon or Paul or whatever, like his excuses made no sense because it wasn't as if the money was gone. It wasn't as if it had vanished. He still had it and could return it at any point. He doesn't have to go down as the scammer.
So I don't know why you're acting like it has to end with like you being the bad guy here. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I'm trying to like get you to return the money because it's 100% still available and you could do that. So that's what I'm not understanding is I want to get to that point. I don't think we're going to get there.
If you want the answer, yeah, I could give the money back. It is within my power. But I'm going to look out for myself and not do that.
And there we go. Scammed his audience. Doesn't care. Doesn't care that some people could potentially, I'm not saying they will, but potentially go bankrupt. Doesn't care that some people could lose their life savings. Doesn't care about any of that. Just cares about himself. See, that's the definition of someone with absolutely no empathy. That's the definition of someone who just feels like ripping you off, you know? He sounds like a Wall Street investor, you know? Maybe he would be good on Wall Street. Who knows? I don't think Wall Street would touch him with a 50-foot pole after this came out, but you never know. They've done rules.
You know, I don't know what else to say. That's just the most honest answer.
Now, I do believe he's being honest here. I believe this is the most mask off anybody's ever been on my channel. Most of the time when you get these guys on the phone, they just try to deflect and dodge. I don't think that's happening here. Ice is being 100% transparent, and I realized it was a unique opportunity to get the full story of how these scams work. Ice Poseidon proceeded to walk me through the details on exactly how long it takes to whip up an influencer scam like this and the profits you can expect from it.
Can you tell me how much money you made off this? I'll just call it a scam. I know you don't want to call it a scam, but it is a scam. So what did you make off this?
Well, I got 55%, and then 45% went to my developers. So I don't know, probably like 300,000.
Nice. What a good profit from
$300,000 that he made profit on that. That's crazy. That's fucking that's more money than an average household can make in a year. Maybe in a couple of years. You know, that's a lot of fucking money to someone. Especially right now in the economy we're in. You know, of people losing their jobs, of people losing their houses. You know, this is the kind of shit that makes me mad. Because this is the really definition of someone with no empathy. They just don't give a fuck. They don't care that someone can lose potentially everything they own. As long as they make a buck or two.
doing, I mean, how long did you work on this project? Like, seriously, how long did you work? I'm just curious.
Well, like you said, it's a fork, so I don't know, a couple weeks.
What do you plan to do with the money?
Invest into crypto, Ethereum, mainly.
Well, there you have it. For
He says that the crypto market is failing, but he's going to invest in crypto. What the fuck did I just hear? He literally contradicted himself there. Literally. Why would you say that the crypto market is failing and then invest in crypto? That makes no goddamn sense at all. So he obviously intentionally did this. He literally contradicted himself, so there's absolutely no way he could say that, oh, that's not what I meant, that's not what I meant. The proof is in the pudding here, ladies and gentlemen. You know, like, it just baffles me. And if he was to ever get charged for this, not saying he will, but if he ever does, he is screwed. They would bring this into the courtroom, and it's like literally a confession. He's literally confessing. You know, that's like a goddamn murderer confessing on an interview that he did something. I mean, he's gonna try and say that he didn't do it. You know what I mean? He's literally giving a confession here.
2 weeks of work forking someone else's program, you can get $300,000, which annualized is a pay rate of $7.8 million per year if he would just scam every 2 weeks. It's not hard to see the appeal, obviously, but what blew my mind is that he hadn't gotten away with this. Like, he got caught red-handed, and somehow, I guess I was just expecting him to go, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll return the money now. But no, he just kept doubling down.
You are deciding to do the shitty thing. You know that, and you're still doubling down.
I am doubling down. Do you not agree, though, some of the responsibility is on people who, if you're still holding something that's inactive for months, like, sure, okay, maybe they, have faith in me, whatever.
It's inactive for months. He literally said that he worked on it for 2 fucking weeks and then bug pulled it. The only reason, the only reason that it's inactive is because he's choosing not to work on it. That's like, let's just say that I'll take this example again. It's just I invested in the car dealership. I have the partner who's supposed to be working at the car dealership, and then he decides to work there for 2 weeks, and then just stops. You know what I'm saying? The only reason it's inactive is because he's not working. So of course it's inactive. It just baffles my fucking mind at this shit, man. Like how dumb can you be? Seriously, how dumb can someone be to say this? Like, my fucking god. Don't you blame this on your audience, Ice. It's not your audience's fault that it was inactive. It's your fault because you weren't working on it. It's your fault because you choose to scam your audience over $500,000.
Whatever, but that's not a good.
That's your fans, dude. That's your fans. These are people who followed you since they were kids. They admire you. They look up to you. That's the people you're saying, well, that's their fault.
I honestly couldn't believe what he was saying here. Not that he didn't care. I'm kind of used to that. But he clearly expects zero consequences for his actions, right? And this made me think that at least part of the reason for this might be because stories like Save the Kids, which got huge press, ultimately nothing happened. Don't get me wrong. It's important to get these stories out there anyway. But you have to understand the inner workings of the greedy influencer. When you don't have law enforcement consequences for what is
And this is what I mean. It has to be regulated, and there has to be consequences for influencers, and anyone else who does these rug pulls, who does these scams of NFTs, who does this nowadays. Because without consequences for their actions, they're just going to keep scamming people, and they're not scamming rich people. That's another thing I want to get. They're not scamming rich people. They're scamming average working civilians. They're scamming people that work a 9-to-5 job. That's who they're designed to scam, and that is what's shameful and disgusting in my eyes, that these people decide to do that shit. It is just awful.
Theft and fraud, you end up with people like Ice Poseidon realizing they can do the same without consequence. And I'm not merely speculating here. This clip you're about to watch is of Ice Poseidon discussing with his partner, Moises, what happened to Sam Pepper, one of the leaders of Save the Kid. They don't talk as if he's a cautionary tale, but instead as if Sam Pepper had won, as if Sam Pepper had beat the system. He stole money, and he got away with it.
I mean, I did watch that Coffee Hill video. I think Sam's a fucking millionaire now. So I think he still succeeded me. Although he got it in a very poor way. He made up like a bandit, bro.
Sam's probably a fucking nowhere, like, probably has like 3 million crypto. The dude broke his lease.
And you got to
Tesla. The dude paid like, what was it, 10 stacks to break his lease.
I don't know. Yeah, if you're breaking your lease and leaving the country, I mean, you made it.
Flew first class.
I mean, if he really felt the need to do all that, he probably made plenty of money.
I heard
Sam Pepper scammed people, but because he did it without going to jail, he's successful. He got away with it. That's how these people think. So is it any wonder when Ice Poseidon is caught also stealing money, his response is, oh, well, I'm just going to look out for number one. It's their fault for getting scammed.
That's another thing, too, is these people are doing these scams, making millions of dollars at a time. They're thinking they won, but you can also have a cautionary tale of, you guys have watched The Wolf of Wall Street? Watch that movie, because it shows a message there that guy decided to scam people, and then at the end, he thinks he won. And then what happens? He ends up getting locked up in jail. So he didn't really win at the end. He lost. He went to prison. And that's what I think should happen to these people doing these rug pulls, to these people doing these NFT scams, to all these people scamming the average Joe on the internet. I think they should suffer some consequences for their actions. You know, I think that if you decide to rob your fans for $500,000, that you should pay some kind of price for that. Because my God, how would you feel if someone scammed you for a shit ton of money? You know what I mean? Just baffles me.
Shouldn't have believed me. He's just so obviously not afraid of getting caught. And why would he? In fact, I asked him about this fact, whether these things should be prosecuted, and he seemed to think that this was a wild idea.
Do you think the FBI should get involved with cases like this, or like the SEC, or do you think like people like you should be prosecuted?
No.
I can't say this enough. These guys aren't
Of course
stupid.
he's
They
saying
think they
that.
can do whatever they want. They'll just fork a coin, take $300,000, another $200,000, another $250K, and walk away. And screw you. What are you going to do about it? Oh, and by the way, in case you thought that this was just a matter of Ice Poseidon messing up once, I actually found old clips of him admitting to what seems to be some kind of credit card phishing scam.
I fished credit cards back when I was younger, dude. I didn't do anything with the credit cards because I was like afraid of going to jail.
But that time, he didn't go through with it because he was
And stuff like that, credit card theft, you would go to jail for. So why isn't it not the same for this? You know what I mean? Just baffles me.
afraid of the consequences. Well, that was then and this was now, and now he's not scared anymore. Ultimately, this whole conversation between me and Ice ended with us just sort of going in circles. Me pointing out that what he was doing was ethically wrong, him telling me that he agreed, but he essentially doesn't care. And I felt sort of like a failure afterwards, to be honest. I didn't achieve my goal of having Ice Poseidon return the money to his victims. However, a few hours afterwards, Ice Poseidon DM'd me one last time. He told me he wasn't going to give all the money back, but he was planning to give a little bit of it back, $155,000. Now,
155K, that's it. Mike, you robbed $500,000. $500,000 and you only plan to give back 155K. What the fuck? And I know for a fact that when Ice Poseidon, in his heyday of live streaming, he was making 100K a month. So you essentially just giving back a month's of your income when you were live streaming. Meanwhile, you made fucking $500,000 in 2 weeks. Get out of here.
Now, I want to be clear about this. Giving back $155,000 is better than nothing. It's good for the investors who hopefully will withdraw their money as soon as watching this video. But it's so obviously a last-minute Hail Mary for whatever is left of his reputation. It's kind of pathetic. I mean, to be clear, he's still keeping the bulk of the money. He knows that, and he knows
keeping the majority of it.
Remember, this still leaves him with taking $200,000 from the project at the start, another $250,000 from the marketing wallet, which went basically nowhere, and then $300,000 from the liquidity pool, of which he's saying, okay, I'll return $155,000. I don't know what this is supposed to demonstrate. Are people supposed to all of a sudden applaud as he gives a small fraction of what he took? Except, wait a minute, I just checked. Ice Poseidon doesn't even seem like he can do that much. After DMing me, I went to the Telegram, and his admin updated everyone and said, we just finished a buyback of over 120 BNB rocket emoji, which is not $155,000. It's only $40,000.
$40,000 fucking dollars. That's it. Are you fucking kidding me? $40,000 fucking dollars. This guy robbed $500,000. Now I'm wondering something. What did he do with all this money? Does he still have it? Is he still investing it? What is he doing with it? You know, I've heard rumors of Ice Poseidon being a drug addict before, and I never really thought those were true, but you never know. Maybe there's a reason why he's only giving 40K back. Maybe he only has so much to spare because he's the rest of it. You never know.
Now, whether Ice Poseidon has actual plans to put the rest in, or, oh my gosh, return the full amount, I really doubt it. It's just amazing to see that Ice seems to be doing this only because he got caught, sort of got interrogated for 30 minutes, and faces reputational damage, yet he still can't muster the moral courage, or at least fear, to return the small fraction of money he promised. And so to close this, look, I'll be honest.
In the long run, that let's just be honest here. Even if Ice does return all the money, his career is essentially ruined. There's no way that he's going to be able to get investors for any future projects whatsoever. He's essentially committed suicide on the internet. There's no way he's going to be able to go live streaming again. He's essentially committed suicide on that. There's essentially nothing that he's going to be able to do now. You know, sure, he can invest his money into crypto or whatever, but once that goes belly up, he's screwed. He's essentially screwed himself in the long term for 300K. Come on, Ice.
In my opinion, Ice Poseidon is not a good person. I don't think he regrets anything or feels bad about any of this. And I think the unfortunate conclusion many other influencers will come to when looking at this is that Ice, like Sam Pepper, has finally made it. He's succeeded in the influencer game. He's gotten away with it. Or has he? There may still be ways to prevent stuff like this from happening. There are two things you can really do. Number one, you can share this video so more people become aware of what Ice did and get more eyeballs on it. But two, if anyone was scammed by CX Coin and lost money, they can report their losses to ic3.gov, linked below. This is the FBI submission portal if you've been defrauded or wronged.
I encourage anyone to do that, by the way. Anyone who's invested in the CX Coin and got gypped, report his ass. Seriously, he's literally doesn't give a fuck about you. Why would you give a fuck about him? Yo, what's going on, man? We're just looking into this CX fraud coin that's been going on with Ice Poseidon robbing almost $500,000 from his investors.
And if enough people report things like this, there's a chance people will be brought to justice. I just hope it happens sooner than later. That way I'll stop hearing about how influencers like Sam Pepper made it. Until then, all I can do is report, dig, and investigate. That's all for now. I'm CoffeeZilla. Thanks for watching.
You know, that blows my mind. I really do hope that Ice Poseidon suffers some consequences for his actions. I know that he's potentially not going to see any jail time, let's be honest. Bitcoins and other internet coins are not regulated, so there's essentially nothing the government's going to do about it. I do see, however, the government regulating these coins in the future. I do see a huge crash coming when it comes to cryptocurrency. That's just my theory on it. I have a theory that once it's regulated, there's going to be a huge crash in it. Because, let's be honest here, what do people really use crypto for? I mean, sure, you can buy some things with it, but what was it used for when it was started? It was used to buy drugs. Let's be honest here, people were using cryptocurrency when it first started to buy narcotics off the internet. If it ever gets regulated, that's essentially gone. You know, I really do see bad things coming to cryptocurrency in the future. I really do. And if these scams keep happening over and over and over again, you know, it's just a matter of time before it is regulated. And I kind of hope it does get regulated because I hate seeing people get ripped off this much money. We're in a bad recession right now. We're in a bad economy. There's people literally who are getting kicked out of their homes right now. There's people who are literally getting kicked onto the street. There's people who have lost their jobs. And then there's influencers like Ice Poseidon or like fucking, what's it called? Fucking, FaZe Clan, Logan Paul, all these guys who are just doing these scams and ripping people off. Sure, you got to give some of the flag to people who invest in these people. You always got to look at what you invest in. There's always a potential of you losing out on money. Sure, don't get me wrong on there. But what these people are doing are literally making it so they steal all your money, like on purpose, and getting away with it, which just baffles me. It really does. Let's watch a little bit of this Well, this one
This
right
is
here,
the
about
story of the
save the
worst
kids coin.
influencer scam I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them, okay? I'm practically a connoisseur at this point, a specialist in influencer scams, if you will. So believe me when I tell you that. So today I'm going to be giving you the short version and then the full juicy story of the new allegations coming out on, quote, Save the Kids token. We already know that Save the Kids was a failed crypto pushed by some of the top influencers on YouTube. If you haven't already seen my video, it's right here. You can also
And I
watch
encourage
Mudahar's video on
anyone,
this. We've covered this in great.
I really do, I encourage anyone, always be careful of what you invest in your money in. Always, you know, weigh the risk of what you're investing your money in. You know, do your research onto it. Um, don't listen to these influencers saying, "Oh, invest in my new coin card." Go fuck yourself, coin. You know what I'm saying? Because these influencers don't care. They don't even care about you. All right, let's be honest here. These these influencers who got millions of subscribers on YouTube and all that, they don't care about you. They care about your money. They don't care about you as a person. You know, so it just baffles my fucking mind. You know, I really do hope that the people doing these scams get caught, suffer some consequences for their actions. Is it gonna happen? I doubt it until it's regulated. Maybe when it's regulated, maybe they'll be hardened for interrogation or, you know, get some kind of charges on them. But
Great detail. But what no one knows is whether any of these influencers knew it was going to be a scam ahead of time. They can and have claimed plausible deniability, one of them saying, quote, I have no ill intent promoting any crypto altcoins. It was all a big mistake. They are victims just like the other people. Today, I will be showing that this was a complete lie because I've traced some of these influencers' crypto wallets and will be revealing what they did with the crypto coins they've promoted to you and are now trying to hide the evidence now that it's all coming out. I will also be showing you hard proof that this Save the Kids token wasn't designed to benefit kids. I will show you in the literal code of the coin itself that it was designed from the outset with the intention to extract money from these influencers' fans and followers. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the $10 million studio. I'm your host, CoffeeZilla, the internet detective. And wow, there's no way to make this a short story. So we're going to start this case at the beginning. A month ago, a friend of mine reached out to me and told me about a failed crypto project called Save the Kids token. That wasn't that surprising. I get tips all the time, and I just sort of
what's
shelved
up
the
with all
project.
these
Well,
stupid
working on
ass
making it
names too of these crypto coins like Dogecoin, Save the Kids, CX Coin? Why do they kind of sound so fucking stupid? Why do people invest their money into it? You know what I mean? Like it's just it baffles me. It really does. Like if I'm investing money, I want to invest in something serious. I want to invest in something that I know I'm gonna get a good return out. Or I can't even talk in speech, but I want to invest my money that I'm going to get a return over. I don't want to invest my money that I'm going to get scammed, potentially fucked over, or deal with some chumps that are just screwing with me. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say you buy a house. You want to buy a house and you want to flip it. You want to buy a house that you're going to make money over. You don't want to buy a complete shithole that's going to literally collapse on you. You want to buy something that you could fix up and then sell. You don't want to buy something that you're going to spend over $1 million or whatever fixing it and get absolutely no profit over.
Investigation. But something they had said had stuck with me. They had told me that several huge influencers were on board with this one, making it different. Phase K, Phase Jarvis, Phase Tico, Phase Nikan, Rice Gum, Summer Ray. I mean, these are some big names here. Some of the biggest.
And this would sketch me out right here. They're all in the same group. You know what I mean? They're not separate influencers. They're all tagged in together. They're all best friends. They're all in the same organization. You know what I mean? So that's a little sketchy right off the bat because obviously one organization can come out and say, this is the bomb, you know what I mean? But like literally everyone who's involved in it is part of your organization. There's no one on the outside who's saying, oh, it's good. It's all people that you're friends with and shit.
in the influencer world. Together, they have well over 50 million followers between them. So the fact that all these huge names are behind something made me want to revisit it. How could they allow themselves to promote something that fell so flat? As soon as it launched, it was dead on arrival. This got me interested, and it had me thinking. I had recently covered the Kim Kardashian promotion. I'd seen the Floyd promote crypto, and I was starting to wonder how much money is actually involved in this stuff, right? How much are people paid to do this? I mean, I'm sure these influencers love kids as much as the next guy, but you're not going to do a commercial like this for free.
My name's Fraser.
My name's Jarvis.
I'm Tico. I'm Riska.
I'm Nikon. And I support Save the Kids Token.
Save the Kids Token.
Save the Kids Token.
Save the Kids Token. Save the Kids Token.
So I decided to look into it. The first thing I did was go to their post-mortem on Save the Kids Hack MD article. They wrote some article basically explaining why it all failed. They said in a post, the most important thing to state here is that ambassadors of Save the Kids are not paid by us and are not given any kids tokens. Ambassadors didn't delete tweets and then dump their tokens as claimed in the Telegram, as ambassadors were never given any tokens. Any of our ambassadors are involved in our project because they have bought into and believe in our mission.
So wait, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? They don't have any of the tokens, but they bought into it? What? They obviously have to make something to be involved in it. No one gets involved into a project like this about making something. That doesn't make any business sense at all. So of course they're making something out of this.
Yes, we'll come back to that later. They believe in helping kids. Remember?
Bullshit. Bullshit. You know what these people believe in? They believe in helping themselves. If they want to help kids, why don't they go build houses in Africa? They're millionaires. You can do that. You don't need to get other people's money to help children. If you're that involved in helping children, go start a charity to help kids. Go build schools in Saudi Arabia. Go do something like that. Why you gotta make a fucking cryptocurrency? How's that gonna help kids?
For that. So I'm thinking at this point, okay, they believe in their project. You're saying they weren't given any kids tokens, didn't delete any tweets, so why'd the project fail? Additionally, I read about something called the anti-whale, anti-bot mechanism. This is essentially a piece of hard code that prevents large holders of a coin from selling out at once. And this piece of marketing was repeated over and over again. Anti-whale measures can't sell more than 0.1% or transfer it in 24 hours. No larger than 20% of a whale's botted wallet can be sold within 24 hours, yes. And the whole idea here is to show people that this project is not going to be a quick rug pull, which in crypto is a term for when a project...
you could also essentially you could sell 20% of whatever you have within 24 hours. So you could essentially sell your entire fucking stock within 5 days. It's then a rug pull. It's a slow rug pull. You could slowly take out all your money and screw everyone else over. No problem there.
Gets pumped and dumped immediately on arrival and is abandoned by large investors. And in their postmortem, they say these actual measures did indeed work as expected. It was audited by TechRate. But if everything worked as expected and these ambassadors were just in it for the kids, why did the project immediately crash? Was it an accident? I decided to investigate their Telegram to learn more, and I quickly realized the actual members were telling a very different story. Members of the Telegram were panicking and insisting that millions were scammed. FaZe's team took the profit and left. Why would FaZe risk their reputation for this?
And these guys are worth millions of fucking dollars, and this is what pisses me off about this shit. Is that if they truly believed in helping children, if they truly believed in that, you don't need to start a fucking Bitcoin or anything like that. You can go and, like I said, build schools in Africa. You can go and help inner city children get off the streets, get off drugs, shit like that. You can start a charity organization helping people, give out clothes to people who need it, give out food to people who need it, other than starting a goddamn Bitcoin and then deciding to screw over everyone else. That's not helping kids. That's helping yourself and Ford Lamborghinis, Gucci clothes, which is what these influencers do, let's be honest.
You guys do know FaZe Clan has done multiple pump and dumps, right? LMAO, there's a reason all their tweets were removed after they sold out on launch. And usually you don't have a whole host of people accusing you of scamming if there was nothing fishy going around. So I decided to do some further digging, and this whole idea of ambassadors and not being given any coins turns out to maybe be wrong. According to the admin, they said, ambassadors bought in. We don't have their wallets. Don't know who bought or sold. Interesting, because earlier we were told they didn't sell. And then
Of course, and I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it the whole time. Why would they do something just for helping kids? I'm sorry to say, but no one does that. Unless you're really charitable and shit like that. But these people aren't. They're fucking influencers, man. They're fucking and the worst kind, too. He mentioned Vice Gum, for fuck's sakes. Does anybody know Vice Gum? He's a fucking scam, sloppy bastard.
we get this news. Quote, we got confirmation from some of our ambassadors that they would not sell anything and simply bought pre-sale to support the project. If you don't know, pre-sale is a special access to people before the token becomes publicly available on the market. Typically, you get much better rates to buy at, but again, this idea that these influencers didn't get anything from this project other than just wanting to help the kids seems to be a little bit disingenuous.
So from what I get from that is that they allow them to pre-buy the coin, which you don't even have to necessarily give them the coin. If you pre-buy that coin and then you sell it just at the right time, that is a fucking rug pull, guaranteed. You know, you can't say you haven't given these influencers anything. You did.
Seems like some of them bought in, but again, we're reassured. Look, they're not going to sell, right? So at this point, I'm thinking things are really fishy. So I reach out to Lucas, the developer. See, after the failure of Save the Kids and everything flopped, he was basically the last person still hanging around the project. And at first, he seemed helpless, kind of like a fall guy, honestly. In a post, a moderator explains that Lucas is not the founder of this coin, even though he developed it. He says, quote, Lucas is a dev that was contracted till the 14th of June to write and set the foundation of this coin. Lucas chose to stay on and to work on this project on his own accord, whilst the others left, and he's not the owner of the coin. Fair enough. A little bit weird that we don't know who's responsible for this giant coin that's pushed by these huge celebrities, but fine. When I reached out, Lucas responded and was pretty eager to help, honestly. He had said he had been taking a break from Telegram. I said, no worries, thanks for reaching back out. I asked him, who is the true founder of Save the Kids? Because he just seems like a developer, but it seems like he would know. Was it FaZe Clan, influencer, the mob? Like, who's involved in this thing? I literally have no idea. He told me, I wish I could let you know, because I really don't. We kept talking, and he told me that he suspected foul play and that this was bigger than one crypto coin. My theory, a group of large money names are going around, finding dev teams, finding promoters, and setting up a large hyped launch, then dipping initially. He also told me the only real contact he had was to a guy named Manny and H. I asked for their contact information. He said no clue. Blocked. I got blocked by all of the team, basically. All right, so at this point, I'm pissed, right? Like, here's this poor dev who gets made to be the fall guy for a token that, like, wasn't his idea. Seems like he got hired to do it. Now it's coming on him. So I'm like, look, can you think of any tie to the founders? You know, it only takes one clue to find everything. And he responds that he does have a clue. So I got tokenomics@gmail.com that sent me the contract, who I also emailed back my PayPal for the $10K they paid me. Then all the rest was from H on Telegram. Bingo. That's all we need. Tokenomics@gmail.com. That's the clue that's going to unravel everything. I start searching the internet, right? I get the computers running 24/7. It was.
I love this guy's setup and everything for, like, I don't know what he's doing. Fucking what they call it, green screen and all that shit. But I love this setup.
All clocked in, but I can't find it. This account is a ghost. Usually there are a few threads you can pull on, nothing. So then I contact.
He's got the old Apple computer back there.
He starts digging around and pings me back with news I couldn't have ever expected.
The kid is lying. That email doesn't exist on PayPal. I used forgot password to check. According to PayPal, there is no account associated with that tokenomics@gmail.com.
That's something that I hadn't considered before. Maybe this developer, if he's a real person, maybe he's lying to me and he's actually involved in sending me on some wild goose chase. I don't want to let him know I'm suspicious yet, so I start asking for, this contract that he seems to have signed. All of a sudden, he gets testy. He asks for a lawyer. Interesting. The next day, he makes it even more clear. He says, "Hey, Zilla, sorry. So my lawyer said don't share anything for now. And also, I'm not sure I'm willing to help out much more. Since your video has been up, I've gotten a lot of death threats, and somehow my family even got one, so I'm not looking to further involve myself. Sorry, hope you understand." Just as a quick caveat, I didn't mention Lucas in the video at all that he's talking about. I respond, "Lucas, you need to talk, man. If you have nothing to hide, I can make sure you get fairly represented. But parts of your story aren't lining up, like this 10,000 from PayPal from tokenomics@gmail.com. I checked that email for PayPal. It doesn't exist. A couple hours later, he deleted his account. All these logs were
Fucking
saved
Jesus
in advance.
Christ.
And at this point, I'm pissed because I'm pretty sure that this kid is full of it or not telling me the whole story of what he knows and is sort of trying to back out of this thing, because I never mentioned him in my video, and he's sort of all of a sudden, as soon as I start asking bigger questions, he starts clamming up, talking about lawyers. And I'm still no closer to finding out the truth about what happened.
Keep in mind, CoffeeZilla is not a goddamn law enforcement. Why are you asking for a lawyer? You know what I mean? Like, if you have nothing to hide, then talk. If you feel like that you have done nothing wrong, then why won't you talk? I don't know. It seems really fishy when someone does something like that. I'm not saying that you don't have a right to legal representation. You do, 100%. I agree with that. If you don't want to talk from the very get-go, then don't talk from the get-go. But at first you start talking, and then you ask for a lawyer. That's what seems fishy. Why didn't you just ask for a lawyer right from the get-go? Or just not talk at all? You legally don't have to answer questions. So why answer some questions and then refuse to answer other ones? Seems fishy.
With Save the Kids. I mean, was it influencers? Was it this developer? Was it this anonymous founder, Mr. H? Like, who's behind it all? Who's responsible for this? In my first video I put out, I had called the coin a scam, but there's not much you can say as far as did they sell, didn't they? It sure seems like they did, but we don't know who or how much they sold. So it feels like at every turn, I'm stonewalled. The dev isn't talking. I can't trace the wallets. The influencers are staying silent. Now, the thing is, at this point, we kind of know these influencers got in on the pre-sale. We were told as much, but here's the thing. We know where those pre-sales went. That's one cool feature of the blockchain technology. It's public to everyone. Where the money was sent, what those wallets then did with those Save the Kids tokens, exactly when they sold them, if they bought more, etc. It's all out there. The problem is, we don't know whose wallets are whose. There isn't some big name on these long blockchain addresses that says like FaZe Clan or Rice Gum. It's just a bunch of random numbers and letters. And without that key information, there's no way of really telling which influencer sold what and if they were just dupes, Maybe they got in over their heads and simply were fooled like everyone else. Maybe they were victims, right? So we really don't have the full story. So for a day or two, I was just like stuck thinking about how can we prove whose wallets are whose. But then I remember something. These influencers have been deleting tweets, like a lot. Some of them deleted their support of Save the Kids project, but that's
I
not
find
all.
it's
They've even
always
deleted
so funny when influencer or whatever decides to delete tweets. With the internet nowadays, you can screen capture literally anything. I can take a picture of whatever tweet you send out. Hell, you make a video, you can just copy that video, rip that video, and now you're in possession of it. So deleting tweets means essentially nothing because people can always have that information publicly on the record for everyone to see. That's why all these celebrities, when they make racist tweets or whatever from like 2013, they end up getting caught. Because once you post something on the internet, it's on the fucking internet. It's hard to get rid of.
Other crypto projects that they've promoted and done giveaways. And I started to wonder, What if those projects were also scams? What if, at minimum, they were equally sketchy? What if this wasn't a one-time thing? And what if they left some incriminating evidence in one of their earlier schemes? It's worth a shot because, like, my other leads were drying up quick. So I just start no-lifing the archives. Tweet after deleted tweet I'm hunting through, and finally I notice a pattern of giveaways with some of these guys. They'll say something like, "This is the craziest thing I've ever done. I will double your Safe Galaxy wallet." This tweet has now been deleted, but I pulled it up in the archives.
And I feel bad for people that fall for shit like this. I really do. But at the same time, you should never trust a goddamn influencer. I don't give a fuck. Alright? You can like the influencer to death, but if he comes out with something like this, you should be skeptical at most about it. Because it's weird. But these guys don't have your best interest at heart. They have their own best interest at heart, not yours.
And then they pick some winners. You won. Just confirming this is the right address? Maybe you see where this is going. Let's go. Here's my wallet address. This is all we need. Using this wallet, we simply cross-check it at the time of giveaway, see that they got the winnings, and then check who sent it. We then check if that address has Save the Kids tokens and other tokens that these people have promoted in the past. If it's actually FaZe K's wallet, it should have both Safe Galaxy, which he's promoting here, and Save the Kids tokens, which he also promotes. And it does. Here's the Save the Kids tokens, and here's the Save Galaxy tokens, which incidentally he got from the Save Galaxy deployer, meaning he's not just some random person, he's clearly someone with influence. That's how these tokens do it. They give free tokens to the influencers from the deployer wallet. That's all there is to it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jesus.
got it.
Oh, I love this meme.
I just repeated that process for each influencer, and I found 3 confirmed wallets. FaZe K, FaZe Jarvis, and FaZe Nikan. The others remain a mystery. But you know what this means? It means now that we have their wallet address, which is public, we just didn't know whose public wallet address was theirs. Now that we have that, we can see what they did with their Save the Kids tokens. We can check all their so-called crypto endorsements that they've been doing and find out, do they actually endorse these products or do they dump them immediately on you? So before I show you what they did, just remember, these guys, these influencers, leading up to this token being launched, promotional tweets are sent out, a damn commercial was being made. And remember, it's all to save the kids, right? We're doing this not for money, but to save the kids.
And my point, yet again, is that the goal was to help children. Why won't they actually help kids who actually need it? Doing this kind of shit does not help kids. I'm sorry to say it doesn't. You want to help kids, take your millions of dollars, go start a charity in Africa and go build schools. Go hand out food or whatever to poor people in the inner cities. Go do something like that. This doesn't help anyone but themselves make a shit ton of money. And it is just scummy and terrible at that.
Is FaZe Jarvis's wallet. He got in the pre-sale and quickly sold out 2/3 of his total holdings within days of the launch. This
Jesus Christ.
is FaZe Nikan.
That's another thing too. They obviously don't have that much faith in the project, or they just plan down intentionally ripping you off right from the get-go. Same thing at the Ice Poseidon thing. You did 2 weeks and you rip people off. Like, this is what's gonna fuck these coins. This is what's gonna get the government involved real quick. And I could really see digital coins taking a huge flop really soon.
He immediately sold about 1/3 of his total holdings and then seems to have held on to the rest. But by far, the really bad one was FaZe K's wallet. He dumped all of his kids' tokens immediately. Within 24 hours, he went from 6.2 billion tokens to 4 tokens now. That's
That
right.
is insane.
He sold all but 4 tokens. But obviously, what's interesting here
So he
is that
essentially
not
sold them
all
all.
of these influencers acted quite the same way. FaZe Nikan sold 1/3 right away, held onto the rest. FaZe Jarvis sold 2/3 over a few days, but FaZe K completely abandoned the project altogether. Why? Well, I think it has to do with their intentions. Look, I looked pretty extensively over FaZe Nikan and Jarvis's wallet history. They do not, in my opinion, have a pattern of of malicious selling. What I mean by that is when they get a coin, you know, maybe they'll get some coins, sell some, buy some, and, you know, sell some more, hold on to something like a trader would. And of course, I'm not saying that promoting garbage scam coins to your fans is okay, right? It's not. But everything they're doing, it seems like they're not premeditating to sell everything. Phase K, on the other hand, whose wallet we're looking at now, should be called Phase Rug, actually. And what I mean by that is that he not only sold Save the Kids instantly, he has a history of doing that to
didn't he get kicked out of FaZe recently too? I'm pretty sure he did, just for doing this. I'm pretty sure he's not even in FaZe Clan now because of this shit.
Project, or nearly every project he gets involved in. Like, take this coin right here, which is called GameSafe.io. He got these coins, immediately sold them out, and this is the date, okay? So 31 days ago, and then you could see the sell-off was almost immediate. Or take another coin, Safe Galaxy, which he's actually promoted to his fans. He got coins from a deployer wallet once again, and immediately sells them off. Now, why did he get these free tokens in the first place? Well, it was probably his promotional tweets he did about them. To get Safe Galaxy, follow this guide. Remember to tweet Safe Galaxy with your wallets. I'm in the Telegram group chatting right now. Ask me your questions there. So he's promoting this coin to his followers, telling them how great it is. Meanwhile, his actual actions within his wallet that we can see right here. Again, this is the same wallet that we saw him sell the Save the Kids off in Eclipse. He's just selling everything as fast as humanly possible. Moon Portal, same thing. What I'm trying to say is this is a pattern of deceiving his fans, pumping something, and selling it to his fans so he gets the best price. How much money did he make from it? We'll try to calculate that later. And by the way, if it feels like I'm belaboring this point, I am. FaZe K has consistently deceived his audience by pushing crypto to them while having a bag of crypto given to him by these coins, I guess, for promotions, and selling it immediately to them. And he'll make videos.
Fucking crazy. And it blows my mind that people still fall for this shit, but my god, these guys doing this are fucking millionaires, and they're ripping off fucking people with 9-to-5 jobs. Like, what the fuck? See, these people need to suffer some consequences. Unfortunately, they won't, but my god, man, I would like to see these people locked up in fucking prison, because you know what? If there's people who do tax fraud and they go to jail, if there's people who do all these other fucking scams and they go to jail, why can't the same be for this? Why won't these people go to jail? Why won't you lock these fucking cocksuckers up? These people are worth millions of dollars anyways, and scamming poor people.
Videos promoting these tokens like Moon Portal.
Yo, Moon Portal is out right now, guys. You can swipe up and check it out.
He'll also tweet about them like this. He said, wow, moonportal.io making the Robin Hood of crypto. Great project and great team behind it. I'm with them long-term 100. That's interesting, really. With them long-term 100. Luckily, we can check your wallet to see what you actually did. It looks like you received the funds 37 days and 18 hours ago, or on May 22nd, and it looks like you sold the coin also on May 22nd. So it looks like, FaZe K, you may not understand what long-term quite means.
So it literally sold his coin right there and then.
To your fans, which is it? Do you not know what long-term 100 means, or are you blatantly lying to your fans? This man has 0 portal on him. He had 43 billion, now he has 0. And look, why am I showing you this? Well, a few reasons. Number one, while covering this, some people put out a theory that Save the Kids failed because of a tweet from Nelk that went out.
So they're promoting it, they're telling people that they're ambassadors or whatever. The coin comes out, it starts going up in value, and then Nelk puts out this post. And after that tweet comes out from Nelk.
Now, I highly doubt one single tweet would sink a fucking cryptocurrency that fast. I really do. Especially if you're selling, what do you say, 40-something billion of his coin that day. You know?
Starts panic selling, and the Save the Kids coin plummets down, and everyone loses their money.
Okay, so the idea here is that it's all of Nelk's fault for calling out these influencers for what they're doing, and it caused this big panic sell. It sounds interesting, but it's completely false, and I want to debunk this because I think this was likely told to Keemstar to just make these influencers seem like they're innocent, but it's false. I know this because we can actually see when the tweet went out, 7:55 June 5th, and FaZe K actually started selling before that tweet. As you can see here, he first started selling
Exactly.
June 5th as well, but this is UTC time. And adjusting for that, he started selling at 6:05, which is about 2 hours before Nelk would tweet. Now this proves that some people in...
So not only is it not Nelk's fault the coin dropped, it's essentially his own fault that the coin dropped because he did a fucking rug pull. You can't even blame Nelk for that because if you sold your coin almost 3 hours before that tweet came out, how is that Nelk's fault? It's not. It's his own.
Involved, like FaZe K and others, planned to sell from the start. And even without this simple proof, by the way, we know that he would have sold anyway from the start because FaZe K always sells from the start. That's what he does with almost all the coins he's promoted before this. Now, the second reason I'm showing you all this evidence is because I absolutely refuse to let anyone spin this into a narrative of like FaZe K being naive with crypto, not understanding what he was doing, right? He's innocent. You know, just look at his apology. I want you all to know that I had no ill intent promoting any crypto altcoins. I honestly and naively thought that we all had a chance to win, which just isn't the case. He was naive.
But that's obviously a lie because you sold your coin like literally the same day you got it. So you obviously didn't believe in the project whatsoever. You just wanted to do a rug pull to make money. These fucking influencers. I'm not the smartest guy alive, but I'm smarter than this. These fucking influencers literally contradict themselves so much. And they just blatantly lie to the audience, which, let's be honest, is young kids to teens to young adults. They blatantly lie to people. It just baffles my fucking mind, man. Like, whoever these people's PR, whoever does their PR is fucking off, and I would fire them on the spot because they're not even intelligent at all.
Guys, this is yet another lie because if you thought everyone had a chance to win, you wouldn't be running for the exit like someone just shouted fire in these
Point
coins,
proven.
Right? FaZe K knew he had to be the first one to get out of these coins in order to profit. Like he's done so many times before, he sold out of Save the Kids token that he was an ambassador of within 24 hours. Now,
Oh, man.
I wish I could tell you who else sold and what else they did, because I'm sure the others aren't completely innocent. But for now, a lot of these wallets remain a mystery. But now that we know how these influencers, spent these coins when they sold them, I wanted to count up how much you can make from a rug pull like this. Right? That was one of our big questions. So I called up my buddy Some Ordinary Gamers to help me calculate how much someone like FaZe K stands to make from these crypto promotions. We crunched the numbers by counting how many tokens he sold times the price at that time. And we got a rough estimate of how much you stand to make.
So really, really rough estimate. When you look at the point of sale around the 6th, when the actual thing was going on, the peak of it, I think each calculation ended up being around 29,000, 30,000 if we're being a little bit more liberal on that. But yeah, it's about what we saw for Save the Kids. Now, of course, when you factor in all the other rug pulls, some of them went as high as like 40, 50, 60,000, right? Depending on the severity of that pull.
And these guys in FaZe Clan, keep in mind, they're fucking millionaires, so why are you doing this? You're already rich. You're just basically ripping off poor people. Like, my God, that is fucking scummy.
So cumulatively, if you look at some wallets, some people who are, alleged to be behind multiple accounts, yeah, that's a lot of money.
I mean, were you surprised? I felt like it wasn't as much as maybe I thought. Surely they're not risking their reputation for something that's, for an influencer as big as they are, doesn't seem to be, like, insane.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine for people who have entire personalities built around mansions and supercars, right? You're really risking your peak, your great career on 30,000, which is a lot of money, but it's certainly not enough to warrant putting that much risk on you, you know?
What do you think is going to happen to these guys?
I mean, if the SEC wants to investigate, they're gonna get a fine, maybe prison down the line. I mean, the government doesn't.
I wish the FCC did investigate these people. I wish they would lock them the fuck up. But let's be honest, they're not gonna do that.
Screw around when it comes to financial crimes. That I think we know.
There you have it. Somewhere in the range of tens of thousands of dollars per crypto coin that was rugged, sometimes more, sometimes less. But at this point, I have to tell you that FaZe K completely denies profiting from Save the Kids token. I reached out to him in preparation for this video, and he said the following, quote, overall, the value of the token I purchased is down considerably from my purchase price. I definitely have not profited from Save the Kids token. He also said he paid for some of the expenses. Quote,
He did profit off it. He made $30,000 fucking dollars. How'd you not profit off that? That is profit. You literally got all your fucking coin and you sold it within 20,000. You sold it within 24 hours and made $30,000. That is profiting off the coin. You profited $30,000 for doing a rug pull.
I helped pay for the exchange listing or whatever could help it. The purpose of the project is charitable giving. It's in that spirit and with that...
That ain't charitable giving. That's being a cocksucker robbing people of their money.
...intent that I was involved and I put capital into it. I don't know if I buy this. Like, okay, let's just say you lost money on this token. I disagree that selling the coins that you own within 24 hours of a charity coin is in the spirit of charitable giving, like you say. Also, there's the small matter of all these other tokens, which he failed to comment on. But even the fact he was able to sell all his tokens in 24 hours brings up sort of an interesting question. Whatever happened to the anti-whale mechanism? Remember, wasn't it supposed to prevent people from selling off this quick? I mean, you were only supposed to sell 20% within 24 hours, so what?
So, it would have to take 5 days to sell your entire stock. How did he sell his entire stock in 24 hours? I wonder.
Happened? How was he able to sell off this fast? I started to wonder about this, and that's when I got a telegram from someone inside the project who messaged me anonymously. Hey, Coffee, I remember something. Lucas, the developer, told us before the launch that the owners asked him to modify the anti-whale system from 24 hours to a minute, so they were 100% planning to dump on it.
God. So instead of 24 hours, which means he would have to sell his entire stock within 5 days, he modified it so you could sell your entire stock within 1 minute of purchasing the coin. That is insane. Okay, these guys need to be locked up in fucking prison for this shit. Seriously. Or something needs to happen because, my God, this is the definition of a scam. They're scamming people. Why isn't YouTube shutting down their chain? Why isn't YouTube getting involved? YouTube should get involved and literally shut these people the fuck down because seriously, they're worried about the smallest shit, but letting the YouTube is worried about people saying news and shit like that about COVID. Meanwhile, they're allowing huge influencers with millions of subscribers to literally rip off thousands, if not millions of dollars off their audience. It just baffles me.
If that's true, that's the smoking gun right there. It turns this project from a charity coin with some bad actors that sold off right away into a premeditated fraud. It turns it from an accidental rug pull into an intentional one. So obviously, I immediately started looking through the code because this guy said he heard about it, but he didn't know where to find it. And so I get to digging. Back to the lab again, boys. I can't overstate how much time I wasted looking for this stuff. And yes, it turns out that Lucas, the developer, had created multiple test coins before launching the main one. In particular interest was Save the Kids Test 2 and the real Save the Kids token. I compared their contracts using BSC Scan, and there was a single change in the code. The old code of Save the Kids Test 2 read that you must wait a full 24 hours before you sell again. The new code, which changed at the last minute, changed this anti-whale to 1 minute. You must wait a minute before you sell again. And this is the only change. They changed the token just so they could premeditate this whole thing and almost remove the anti-whale mechanism completely.
There is no anti-whale mechanism. They pretty much did remove it. You can't tell, even if you could sell 20% within 1 minute, you could sell your entire stock within a 5-minute span. So essentially, there is no mechanism. So, because you could essentially do a rug pull within 5 minutes. It's insane. It's insane that these guys aren't locked up in prison. It's insane that this stuff is continuing to happen. It's insane that these millionaires are robbing fucking poor people and they do not give a shit. That is insane. That is freaking crazy.
Turned it from being a code that wouldn't let whales sell off in less than 5 days into a code that lets you sell off in 5 minutes. Again, 5 days, they changed it to 5 minutes.
And 5 minutes is nothing. 5 minutes is nothing. People won't even look at their crypto wallets that fucking frequently. No one's gonna constantly spam their crypto wallet and whatever to see if someone's selling off. No one's doing that. It's essentially, you might as well just get rid of the whale mechanism and let people sell off instantaneously, because that's essentially what they're doing. Shit.
Start trying to reach out to Lucas because this is what he seems to have kept from me, right? Like, he acted innocent initially. He didn't tell me about any of this. But this shows that at least he was a part of this, right? He was complicit in this. Finally, I managed to get him into a Discord call where I confronted him. I'm seeing things from you that are deeply troubling in the code. And you went AWOL on me as soon as I talked to you about this tokenomics@gmail.com not existing.
I didn't see you sending that. Tokenomics@gmail.com does exist.
No, not on PayPal, though. You said you got paid 10K at PayPal. And we forgot passworded it, and it doesn't exist.
I got 10K in BNB. Like, that's what I was given from the token directly.
Oh, you said in the Discord.
No, the PayPal is from Redbubble, I believe, but I don't have that.
Then I asked him about this anti-whale change. Lucas, you hard-coded in. So what I mean by you hard-coded in this thing to be a scam is that I know that you changed the anti-whale measures last minute to make it easier to dump on people.
Yep, I know. I've talked about that in all the AMAs.
That's a scam, Lucas. That's a scam.
Coffee, this is what I was told to do. I'm contracted.
You were told to scam people. Why would you do that? Like, I don't care if someone's paying you money. You're legal. It's like saying, it's like saying, hey, go light this car on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing a crime, and just blows my fucking mind.
I don't know what to tell you. This is exactly what I was told to do.
I also asked him, if he doesn't know the creator of this project, how did he even get involved in the first place? This random guy named Manny reached out to him and he believed him? Very coincidental that you would just be like picked out of like a rabbit out of a hat and you're so close and you have no association.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so you have there's no explanation for why that is?
I don't know. They're randomly picked out of the hat. This was a huge surprise to me. Wait, I remember when I was talking to Manny, and he said that we're going to have influencers on this project. I think I could find this picture, actually. And I was like, you're going to have influencers on this project. He's like, yep. And he started naming names, and one of them was K. And I was saying, I'm sorry, but obviously I don't believe you.
He told me, no, actually, he required proof, and this is what it was.
This was me being proven that this was actually influencers were on board on this. And I was like, oh, okay. Obviously, I would work for somebody like that. Like, I don't want to work for a project where there's, people behind it. That's crazy. It's going to be huge. If I had, I guess my argument would be if I had direct connections, then I wouldn't have to be sent a picture like this that was, to prove to me. So I guess that is what I'm trying to show.
It says Lucas and Manny.
Yep.
Lucas and Manny on this.
To your mind, does this mean that Fraser was in on this from the get-go, like even on the premeditation of this app? Because it doesn't seem like he was brought in as an afterthought. It seems like he was in this from the beginning.
I assume all the influencers probably were in this from the beginning.
Yep.
Those were already lined up like, straight off the bat.
100% though.
So FaZe K was in it from the beginning. Now, I confronted FaZe K on this and asked him how he knew Manny and who Manny was. He denied knowing him. He said, I believe he is a friend of the dev, or a dev? I'm not sure exactly who he really is. Now that's funny because the dev says he doesn't know Manny at all.
Trying
Manny
to
knew.
constantly go back and forth. Oh, I didn't know this. Oh, I didn't know that. Who gets involved in something like this about knowing everything about it? You know, they obviously know everything about it.
FaZe K, and FaZe K took a picture with the guy's name on it. So I find this pretty hard to believe you don't know a guy and then you're writing his name on paper. I also asked Lucas who was behind the anti-whale change. Obviously, this is one of the most malicious parts of all the code. He told me it was sort of talked about in a group of a lot of influencers. It was a huge group chat, which he was later kicked out of, talking about the anti-whale thing. Do you remember which influencers were telling you that you need to basically speed up the time that they can basically dump more of their...
So the only one I remember because he's on my screen, I know Smeef was in that group chat. I don't know if he was one of the main ones who was like actually messaging it, but I know there was a general consensus of them being concerned. So they weren't the ones telling me to lower it. They were very concerned with, and I was just trying to explain, this is good for the product, like blah, 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 like 24 hours good.
Why do you think they were concerned about that?
Well, I mean, obviously now, probably... they want to dump right away.
Another interesting moment of the call was he told me that a YouTuber named Joel Morris was also involved. Now, Joel Morris is the creator of X-Cademy Token. He's another one of these guys claiming to be serious and trustworthy with crypto. So what did this guy do when he got into pre-sale? Joel Morris was involved as well. Do you remember what address he gave you? He should have given you an address to like check, right?
Yep.
Can I see it?
I have it.
Let's do a quick check here.
Easy scan.
Oh, he immediately dumped.
Oh,
man. Looks like he took, Joel Morris took advantage of your little crypto rule here.
4 hours, everything right away.
And then within, it looks like, yep, within a very short amount of time, he completely dumped his bags. He sold immediately to drive the price of a kid's charity token even further into the dirt. By the way, you'll notice here that Joel Morris took advantage of the change in the anti-whale code because he was selling literally every minute. So clearly, these influencers knew.
You could sell your entire stock within 5 minutes. Why wouldn't they? But I mean, at the same time, this is the most scumbag scam that people are pulling off right now. You know, it's terrible, but
that the code has changed. Now, honestly, this whole thing is so vomit-inducing. Like, this developer's telling me he was misunderstood and is just following orders. You have FaZe K saying...
Yeah, that's what the Nazis did. Just followed orders. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't just follow orders, especially if it's a scam like this. I don't care if you're just quote-unquote following orders. That's what the Nazis did in Germany, and look what happened now.
He didn't make money despite trying his hardest to be the first to sell off. You've got basically everyone claiming to be innocent, but you couldn't design a bigger token scam and a bigger commercial for it. The biggest influencers in the world all saying that it's such a great opportunity. Now, the last person we need to talk about is Sam Pepper. This is an old YouTuber.
Sam Pepper. My God. And this is what goes back to Ice. But he did. He was involved with Sam Pepper. Jesus Christ.
To Reddit posts now works with FaZe. Apparently, he's their camera guy or comes up with video ideas or something. The point is, he's
close by them, he talks to them, etc. He kept coming up in my investigation, even though he wasn't a public part of the project. He apparently was one of the people promoting this thing on Reddit and creating the mod team. I was told as much by the mods themselves.
The biggest thing that I know is that Typo, who was a mod, asked me to be a mod before launch. I know that him and some of his guys were brought in by Pepper to mod this stuff up.
So
keep in mind, Sam Pepper has loaded with controversies. This guy has been accused of sexual assault and rape, and that he's working with FaZe Clan. So $1 million organization is working with an accused rapist / scammer. Wow, that's good for your organization. Good job, FaZe Clan. Really get going there with saving children when you're working with a goddamn rapist.
Pepper was brought in to mod this thing up. So what does Sam know? How is he involved? And how much did he really organize? A different mod reached out from the group and told me that the group had been talking and realized that maybe Sam was the common link. They said in a conversation that Sam handled the pre-sale, as far as I know. And that, quote, Sam deleted his Telegram. Why did he do that? I had someone actually reach out to Sam, and he said that he also had no idea who Manny was. He seemed to be in charge of finding the mod team.
It just blows my mind how these guys don't know who started this organization. Who works for someone and doesn't know who the fuck they are? That makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. If you have an employer, you're going to know who your boss is. It's simple as that. You don't work for people without knowing who your fucking boss is. Does that make any sense to anyone? No, it doesn't.
And says that he's not the mastermind. After all, FaZe K apparently brought him on board. Quote, that makes no sense. How would I already be on board if I found out from K about the project? When I found out about it from K, he was already an ambassador. Wait, so FaZe K got Sam Pepper in the coin, which was later confirmed by FaZe K himself. He said they asked me if I have chat mods, but I don't. I knew Sam had mods, so I asked for his, not for Sam himself. Now, bear in mind, Sam Pepper doesn't have a great reputation around crypto. He's known as Scam Pepper by some of the cryptocurrency community for all of the rug pulls that he promotes himself. But nevertheless, it's all leading back to FaZe K, who himself is insisting that, oh, no, I didn't make any money, that he's the victim in all of this. So where does that leave us? Fact one, we know FaZe K lied about being some naive crypto investor. He's got a history of dumping nearly every crypto project he's ever been involved in and promoting it to his fans. Fact two, we know this thing was designed from the absolute get-go to be a scam. You bring people in with this anti-whale mechanism, and then at the last minute, you remove it. Yep. Number three, we know a lot of other YouTubers were involved, even besides the ambassadors themselves. People like Joel Morris, who sold off immediately. And fact four, we know that the real victims were you, the fans of these guys, who got in believing that you were somehow supporting kids by getting involved. That's the biggest lie of this whole project, that kids were going to be helped by this. The only thing we really don't know at this point is who the creator and mastermind of this entire operation was. I have my suspicions, but no proof. Whoever they are, though, they successfully used the greed of influencers and their following to design one
We're
of
gonna
the
watch the rest of this video and call it a
rug
stream
pulls of
and pick
all
this up
time
tomorrow morning.
that used charity to take money from fans who are less well off and give it to the people who were shilling the thing, I guess? And it's not for trying that we don't know who that is. I've asked everyone involved. Lucas, I've asked all the influencers I've been in contact with. Everyone claims to not know who this mastermind is. Is it this Manny guy? I also heard of a character named H in the Telegram who apparently was ordering everyone around. They all say they have no idea who these guys are. And that's either yet another lie, or these influencers are just really dumb and didn't bother to do due diligence on the project that they were about to promote to their millions of fans.
And I really don't think these influencers are that dumb. I really think they do know who's involved.
All right. Well, that basically concludes my investigation. I hope the people involved with this face justice for it. And I also hope that two parties learn from this. One, you, the viewer, should now be sufficiently disgusted by the actions of these so-called influencers.
And I'm gonna say something real quick. I think YouTube should really crack down on this. I think there should be consequences, not only on the part of them being on YouTube. I think there should be legal consequences as well. I think if you get caught doing a scam like this, you should lose your goddamn YouTube channel because you're literally scamming people out of their hard-earned money. I also think they should face legal consequences, either if it's a huge, a massive amount of fine that they have to pay, or if they have to straight up go to prison for this kind of shit. Because if you were to rip people off in any other kind of investment, whether it's on Wall Street, shit like that, they tend to go to prison. If you do tax fraud, you go to prison. Any other kind of fraud, you tend to go to prison for. But cryptocurrency right now, and this is why cryptocurrency unfortunately has to be regulated. And I have a feeling once it is regulated, it's going to use a large amount of the value that it has right now. But who knows? We'll find out in the future, I guess. Anyways, had a nice time streaming with you guys. I'm going to log off for now. Thanks anyone who's tuned into my stream. We're probably going to pick up on this tomorrow. And yeah. So thanks y'all for tuning in. And I'll see you next time. It's the guy.